Welcome to the Federal. I'm K.S. Dakshinamurthy. On this very significant day for Karnataka, things are panning out the way it started in the morning as far as the election results are concerned. The Congress continues to take the lead, and the trends that started off in the morning, it's held on. There has been no major shifts anywhere. In fact, the Congress is close to what D.K. Shivakumar had said. He had predicted 141 seats. It's 137. So a colleague says that Siddaramaiah said it would be 139. So anyway, so the point is the Congress is very comfortably up in the lead. I cannot foresee a situation where this will change. So, but then that leaves us with the question, what happened? What happened to the BJP? What happened to the Prime Minister Narendra Modi? He was seen to be a kind of a game changer. In fact, I would say a couple of months ago, we did a story, one of my colleagues did a story, and he was saying that the trends look like the Congress was at an advantage other than the Modi and Shah factor. So the story basically said that the Congress was sitting comfortably, but Modi and Shah could make a difference. But as it turns out today, well, that hasn't been the case. Modi came, he stormed through. In fact, you had several television channels and media commentators calling it a blitzkrieg and all that because he just rushed through, did a roadshow through Bangalore, which has never happened before. I don't recall, say, in the last about 40 years, any top political leader, even the state political leader, going through Bangalore like that, through the heart of dense residential areas with people gathered on both sides. In some areas there were people, in some there were not, mix of things. So, I mean, it took the level of campaigning to, I would say, a new level actually. And then, of course, to top it, his ability to suddenly create a controversy out of something. In this case, the Congress had said, that they're going to ban the Bajrang Dal, and then along with, of course, the PFI, and that became a nice handle for the BJP, which was really looking for some issue. And he said, you chant Jai Bajrang Bali and all that, mixing up Bajrang Dal with Bajrang Bali and trying to make it appear as if they were the same. So, and it definitely caught the attention of the media. People talked about it, and this happened during the last 1 week. So the question was whether he was swinging it as he's normally predicted to do. But it looks like it almost has had no impact except in the coastal region of the state, where the BJP has done well in coastal Karnataka. And whether it is because of this or it was already a region that has been polarized. So the BJP has done well there. But otherwise, in North Karnataka, the Congress, I think, in fact, the Congress has done very well. It's basically due to its performance in North Karnataka, which means that this whole theory about the Lingayat vote being with the BJP and the Congress not having a Lingayat vote, there are many these kind of analysis that, one that you may be seeing. They're not exactly true. It also proves that sometimes there are certain issues which go beyond one's caste. Suppose there is a government which is not doing well, and there are issues, say corruption, misgovernance, etc., etc. Then you don't put the caste on the table. So which is what we have seen this time. So North Karnataka, which is seen as the BJP's bastion, so to speak, suddenly has gone the Congress way. So now how do you account for it? You account for it because you realize that people think sensibly. They think and they see what's happening on the ground. Of course, there is one small, I wouldn't call it a setback. One small, little bit of a shock was the defeat of Jagdish Shettar. Now, Jagdish Shettar was with the BJP, as we all know, and he was a big figure in the BJP, a former chief minister. When he was denied a ticket, he shifted to the Congress because he said he was personally, he was personally humiliated. So So this did not, it looks like this did not carry much weight, because the counter assumption to this, or the counter feeling to this, was that people voted for a party rather than for an individual, right? So this was the a little bit of a setback for the BJP, and more for the Congress. More than the Congress, it's a personal setback for Jagdish Shettar. But it also, again, it throws up certain imponderables sometimes, which you come across when you are facing, when you are contesting elections. You really don't know whether the support is for the candidate or for the party, right? And in this case, unfortunately for Shettar, it looks like the support was for the party and not for the candidate. But other than that, so for so coming back to what, where I started from, the larger issue is the efficacy of Modi in assembly elections. Already there was some kind of a suspicion that his clout or his image worked well with the in the Lok Sabha elections, but not that much in Karnataka. I mean, not that much in assembly elections. And this is in some ways proved that Karnataka has proved that whatever you might say, Modi cannot become the candidate for Karnataka. He is the Prime Minister. He works from Delhi, and the BJP needs to take care of itself with good local leadership in the state, which it obviously couldn't. So this is as far as the BJP is concerned. That really, if you go against the state, against the wishes of the people, or you try to polarize and create issues like the hijab issue or the halal issue, and try to mess around with the fundamentals. Indian society is a complicated society. You have all kinds of people, all communities. Many of them, they practice each other's. There are practices which cut across religion and communities. So trying to disentangle this and then trying to kind of polarize. Sometimes it probably, not sometimes, it almost always doesn't work. And this, I think, really is a takeaway for the BJP. They really need to do a reset on how they look at elections, how they look at their ideological platform, etc. Now, as far as the JDS is concerned, JDS, the former Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy and the leader of the JDS kept insisting that he would get 123 seats. Now, everybody knew, I'm sure he knew that this is never going to happen. Okay, and then the results today, or the trends are showing that it'll be around 30, give or take a seat this way or that. So it obviously means that the Janata Dal secular, okay, which is a faction of the United Janata Dal which existed in 94. So this faction, the Devegowda faction of the Janata Dal, which is called the Janata Dal secular, can only be a bit player. Now this is something that the Janata Dal secular needs to look at very carefully. And there is a danger that they may just fall off the electoral map. If they continue this way, they may just fall off the electoral map. So, and then the Janata Dal as a political party is very important. It's a party with a very interesting history. It has been, Janata Dal has done very good for the state. In the 80s when they first broke the Congress, dominance, and they came to power with Hegde. And then, later on, so the point is, the Janata Dal has had its place in Karnataka's history, and, by really insulating itself and then, continuing to remain as a family, party, a party in which there are so many members of one family, the Gowda family, it may not be really doing justice to something like the Janata Dal. After all, it's still a faction, but the point is that the Janata Dal really needs to do a kind of a rethink and see how they can, make up for all this lost time and make themselves more relevant in Karnataka's politics. You can't always be a kingmaker. See, now in this case, the Congress has won a majority on its own, so the Janata Dal is now left high and dry. Nobody is going to go anywhere near the party for for coming to power. So the third, so the takeaway for the Congress itself, though the Congress has won, it must be, it's really on a high, and it's must be really thrilled that, they managed to do something which not many people would probably have predicted that that they would achieve. So for the Congress, really the takeaway is this, that any unity is always good. For instance, there was this running feud between D.K. Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah, and a few months before the elections, especially during the Bharat Jodo Yatra, the Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, had a kind of a discussion with them along with the local leaders, and they both, took a call that they would not bring up this issue of chief minister and they would work unitedly. So now it looks like they really meant what they said, but then the challenges begin today or tomorrow when they actually take over the governance of the state, because unity is not something that is required only to win an election. Unity is also required to complete your term in office. So these fault lines will remain. There is a section of the party which is pro D.K. Shivkumar. There is a section which is pro Siddaramaiah. Hopefully, the takeaway for them is that if they stay united, then it'll be difficult for the opposition to come through the back door, like what happened in 2019. So, or earlier in 2006. So the point here is, so this is the biggest takeaway for the Congress, that they stay united and they make sure that they deliver on some of these huge promises they have made. Okay, so in their manifesto and even before that, they have promised all kinds of subsidies. They have promised free electricity, cash to the unemployed, to women, to the people in rural areas. So it's actually quite a big chunk of promises. So I mean, one hopes or one imagines that they had done their homework before making these promises. So now, if they do not deliver this, again, there's going to be an issue. So for the Congress, the challenges are again quite a bit. And then you have the BJP and the Janata Dal is constantly looking for a way to kind of see if they can kind of move in somehow. So and also for the Congress, since it now it now is in power in far fewer states than earlier, and it is not in power at the center. Any kind of government in any part of the country it's important for the party. It gives it a certain stability. It also gives it a certain momentum. And the fact that they have managed to do what they have done in Karnataka is going to take it some way for it politically. So they are right now in the opposition parties are in the middle of confabulation and discussion and going around talking to as many political leaders as possible, trying to kind of stitch a kind of a solid opposition unity. So the point here is that this will go some way, at least go some way substantially for the unity to be achieved, which is not good news for the BJP, because for the BJP it's good if the opposition, for any ruling party, if the opposition is not united, it's works well for them. So the takeaways are there for the three parties in many different ways, and eventually for Karnataka, what it has managed to do is the electorate or the voters have said that we want a change every 5 years. Okay, so that continues, and this has been continuing, I think, since 89. 89, the Congress defeated the Janata Dal, and since then, every 5 years, the government has changed. From 89, 94, you had the Janata Dal, then you had 99, the Congress. So if you look back, every term it has changed, and even this time it has. What it basically does is that it tends to keep political parties on their feet. It also forces political parties not to take the voters for granted, and probably really the biggest lesson for political parties is that in a state like Karnataka, the level of knowledge and the level of political consciousness is definitely several notches above. I don't know, I don't want to specifically compare it with any other state, but it is at a level which makes Karnataka's electorate be counted as a thinking electorate. I think so. This is something that we should leave it and then see how it works. A good, a conscious electorate. a government that is going to, that hopefully will deliver on its promises, and the opposition, well, does its job as an opposition. So let's see, maybe Karnataka might even become a model state for others to emulate. Thank you. And at the federal, our program is not yet done. We still have one more panel discussion at 5:30, and we are continuously live. And there are some very interesting discussions that we've had, some interesting analysis that we have done. Please, go through our website, www.thefederal.com, and also tune into our earlier discussions and also the discussion that we're going to have shortly. Thank you so much.